it's an interesting reply rate. But what we don't know is what the actual voicemail was that they left.
Right.
But
well, we also don't know context, right? So we don't know, is that someone that's gone to their website and said, hey, contact me, right? And you've contacted them and left a voicemail. So of course that's going to get a fucking high response rate, right? Because that person has reached out to you and asked for you to call them. But if this is a cold call, right? I can't imagine that gets a 66% reply rate if that's a cold call.
Oh, I just don't see it. Unless your voicemail was just impeccable and you gave a just a great hook in your voicemail. Yeah, I mean, which, I have to assume this is somebody that filled out a form or something like that on the website. They're calling them back to highlight this with a 66% reply rate. There's just no way that you would get that if it was, purely a cold call.
Right, because I mean, this email here presupposes a lot of things. One, that they're going to even know who you are because you've done nothing in here to talk about why you've actually called them, right?
Which you should still do.
Absolutely,
right?
You should do that. I was just giving you a call in regards to X, Y, and Z, right? So whether that's cold or warm, if that's an inbound lead, right, you should still let them know why you called. Right? You have to remind them. People filled out a form on your website to get some, content bribe you put together, and they've signed up, and you've called them. Then you should remind them of why you're talking to them. I'm calling you. I left you a voicemail in regards to your request to get more information about this, in regards to, this feature you requested or whatever it is. Like, I think that's just common, not just courtesy, but I just think that's just common sense to remind them of why you're doing it. It's one of those things of you are making a lot of assumptions here that they're going to know who your company is and who you are if you don't put something a little more meaty in that email, I would say. Unless, of course, this is an email going out to a please contact me form, right? So, but even then, I would still say that. Yeah. Just try to give you a call and left a voicemail in regards to you wanting to be contacted by us, right? I don't think that hurts at all. So,
you can't assume that they understand your value prop, right? You want to re-emphasize that every chance you get, and this is a perfect opportunity to do that. This next one, I think is pretty interesting. I actually like this. I'm assuming that they are doing this cold, but obviously this could just be a warm, follow up as well. But I think it works both ways. I mean, I really like this. I think what I like the most is probably how it ends, which is I'll try you again on this date. And you can always reach me before that at this number. So, obviously if they call you inbound, that's a really good sign. But yeah, I guess, this touches the value prop, explains why they were calling, and then, kind of sets up that next step and, kind of gives them that expectation that there's going to be a follow-up here.
Yeah, I love it. I actually love the subject line too. I think, sorry, I missed it. At first, it's funny, when I first read it, I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought I was going to, oh man, this is going to be one of those apologetic emails where the person's apologizing the entire time. Sorry, I'm bothering you. Sorry, I'm doing this. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this. But then I realized what it was is actually, yes. I mean, someone sees that in their inbox, they're going to open that email. That is getting opened, right? So I love that, but it's still close enough. It's truth. So it's not so link baity that they open and say, oh, you tricked me, right? They open and say, oh, yes, they did miss me on the phone today, right? So I actually really like the way this one's worded. And definitely, again, because explaining your purpose is very important. And yes, the dedicated time of calling back. And this is the thing I tell sales reps is, the way you engender trust in a sales process is by making commitments and meeting them. And not just the commitment of the sale, like, hey, if you buy, we will do this for you. More of these little minor, mini, and micro commitments you make along the process. So when you say you're going to call them at a certain time, calling them at that certain time. When you say I'm going to send you materials, sending them materials, right? And so you want to set up these opportunities for you to make commitments to people and then follow through on the commitment. So I love that, doing that. But of course, make sure you're putting a task in your CRM to call this person exactly that time.
This last example, short, so I like that. But again, I mean, this is just very generic. It's not exciting. When you lead in, hey, how's it going? Can we schedule a time to talk this week? You're missing a lot here. There's no value prop. If you're sending this to me cold, I have no idea what you're talking about. There's nothing in here that excites me about setting a call up. So again, we're missing some context here, but if this is as part of your cold email sequence, I would be changing this immediately.
Oh, I think if this is just an individual email, it's a bad email. If you're saying this individually to someone in a follow-up process, it's bad. It's just, I think you have to, you know, how's it going is a useless, wasted question, right? I mean, like, so you don't
Nobody
care.
really cares about their
problem. Care. You don't care. I don't. You send an email to someone, hey, how's your day going? You know, hey, how's the weather? You don't care. You know, the guy says, oh, my cat died. You know, and so, you know, what are you gonna say then, right? So like, I hate the faux, false, you know, friendliness. Like, let's not do that. This is business. We're business to business. Be friendly, but don't pretend you're my best friend. Don't pretend you care how my day is going, because you don't. So, and even if you do, if you're that 10% of people that are just that lovely and sunshiny and happy, and you really do care about other people's days, awesome. What does that have to do with what you're talking about? Nothing. It's wasted. It's a waste of time. So I just wouldn't do it. And again, going for a scheduled time to talk about what? About how it's going? About how my life is? You know, you're going to give me some phone shrink? You know, you're going to give me some consultations over the phone about, you know, how to deal with all my personal problems? I mean, it's just, yeah, this is really bad.